But now it is time for my favorite segment we have here this week in Shohei Ohtani news. The man is a legend, and we treat him as such on this show with the most incredible set and background you can imagine. And as always, this segment is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Mattress Firm. So talk to an expert and unjunk your sleep today. Look, now that they're our sponsor, I see their stuff everywhere. I was watching a game the other day, and I just happened to hear all the time, unjunk your sleep today. So seriously, I made this switch a couple months ago. I'm telling you, you got to do it. It's life-changing. Better sleep is in your future. But now it's on to Shohei Ohtani, and look, every single week, he's putting himself in categories that there aren't a whole lot of people in. And this week is no different. So Shohei Ohtani this past week hit 2 more home runs, giving him 37. And that in itself puts him in elite category for the Angels. Shohei Ohtani has become the 5th player in Angels history. 5th player in Angels history with 35 homers and 15 stolen bases. Now, let's go over this list. Mike Trout, obviously, he's done it twice. Vladimir Guerrero, Don Baylor, and Bobby Bonds. Of that group, 3 of them have won the MVP. Trout, Baylor, and Vlad. They all won the MVP. In my opinion, and I don't even think this is that hot of a take anymore. In my opinion, Shohei Ohtani is going to be the next in that line to do this incredible feat and go on to win MVP. I really think it's that simple. He becomes the 5th player in Angels history to accomplish this feat. Now, it kind of got me to thinking, all right, he's now the 5th player in Angels history to accomplish this. How many players in history have accomplished this before July even ends? So we did some digging. The incredible department here that gets us our data and analysis did some digging as well, and we found it. We found how many players in history have ever had 37 home runs and 15 plus stolen bases by the end of July. It's one person. And that person is Shohei Ohtani. The one player in the history of this game with the deepest history of any sport has become the one player in history to accomplish this feat. 37 homers, 15 stolen bases by the end of July, before July even ends. Absolutely incredible stat. The man just keeps doing things weekly that just never cease to amaze me. So on top of him being one of one doing that, he's also done something else now that a lot of people don't do. Okay? He has become the first player to have 15 plus stolen bases and 15 plus pitching appearances since the household name Bullet Rogan of the Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro Leagues back in 1922. Good old Bullet Rogan. Shohei Ohtani and Bullet Rogan. Classic. And if you want to look to the last AL-NL player to do it, you got to go back to 1901 when Zaza Harvey accomplished the feat. I mean, guys, at this point, if you're not completely over the top impressed by what Shohei Ohtani is doing, then you're doing yourself a disfavor, and you can't call yourself a baseball fan. You just can't. Because this is incredible. And what we are seeing week in and week out, as we're getting further and further into the season, he's just doing things and accomplishing things weekly that have never been done in this game. That have never been done. That's why I love him. That's why I love this segment. That's why I talk about him all the time. And that's why our set looks so incredible, because he deserves to be talked about all the time. So he's accomplishing all these cool things at the plate, hitting a bunch of homers, stealing a bunch of bases. But I want to talk about his pitching, because this is equally as impressive. He just keeps lowering and lowering his ERA. It's now right at a 3.0 ERA. He's had multiple dominant starts in a row since his last start since that start against the Yankees. The month of July, he had a 1.6 ERA. 1.6 in the entire month of July. He went 2-0. He didn't lose a start. And the one start that he didn't get a win, he didn't get the win, but he didn't give up a single run. It's only because the Angels didn't score. It's the only reason. He didn't go 3-0. So he continues to lower his ERA. He continues to pitch better and better. He continues to not walk people and get out of that first inning. For me, that first inning for Shohei Ohtani is the biggest one. If he can get out of that first inning, he's going to have success on the mound. And he's been doing that ever since that Yankee start where the whole world was saying, I told you so. He just needs to switch back to being a full-time hitter. That's where he's great. He has been the best pitcher in baseball since that day. It's 2-0, a 1.6 ERA, just continues to dominate on the mound. His command is getting better and better and better. So as a starting pitcher, he's incredible. As a hitter, he's incredible. I find it tough sometimes to express more how impressive it is what we're seeing. So his last start on the mound came early in the week this past week, and he goes out. He has a great first inning. He throws a shutdown inning, doesn't give up a run. Okay? He doesn't give up a run in the first inning. He strikes out a guy in the first inning. He makes a defensive play in the first inning on the mound. So he covers literally everything out on the mound. And then what does he do in the bottom of the first? In the bottom of the first, he comes up with a runner on second. He gets a single. He gets an RBI. So an RBI single. He's on first base. And then he steals second base. There has never been a more complete, well-rounded inning in the history of this game. It's impossible. It's impossible to do more. He pitched, shutout inning, no runs, struck a guy out, made a defensive play, gets a hit, gets an RBI, steals a base. He did it all. So when you look at Shohei Ohtani as a whole, as a hitter and as a pitcher, you look at that one inning. You look at that one inning and say, this is done by nobody else. He's literally doing things, like I talked about at the beginning of this segment, that have never been done in history. And that inning just perfectly culminates, in my opinion, what he does as a baseball player. So look, listen here. No more talk of he needs to pick one. He needs to pick one. We told you so. He needs to become a full-time hitter. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. This guy has continually proven that he is able to do both at the highest level, and he is able to do them both well. So enough of making him pick. He has proven that behind the scenes, he can put in the work. He can put in the work ethic. He has the work ethic to do this, and he is one of the best players in the world and is having the most incredible season that we have ever seen, and he is hands down the MVP of this 2021 Major League Baseball season. And I want to hear nothing else about anything about that he needs to pick, because he doesn't. And he's the MVP of this season. And that does it for this week in Shohei Ohtani news. Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.